Joining me now for more on the Berlin attack is California Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell, a member of the House Intelligence Committee. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. And as a member of that committee, can you give us any insight, anything that you've learned really essentially today to give us an update on those attacks?
Thanks for having me on, Elizabeth. And the hunt is on for this Tunisian suspect, and U.S. intelligence and law enforcement officials are lending aid to our German friends. And, you know, right now, it does appear that this individual did not act in a directed or coordinated way with ISIS, but, you know, their claim of he being a soldier of the caliphate, that's language we've seen before to say that we endorse this attack, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this was a cell that carried it out.
Right. I want to switch topics for you. I want to bring something else, too, because I was reading a Wall Street Journal op-ed, and I want to play a soundbite from you from Romney back in 2012, and I want to get your reaction. Take a listen, sir.
When you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back because, you know, the Cold War has been over for 20 years.
Russia, I indicated, is a geopolitical foe. Not a, excuse me, it's a geopolitical foe. And I said in the same paragraph, I said, and Iran is the greatest national security threat we face. Russia does continue to battle us in the UN time and time again. I have clear eyes on this. I'm not going to wear rose-colored glasses when it comes to Russia or Mr. Putin.
All right. So the reason I did that is because I want to bring you to a new topic that we had. In fact, it was a Foreign Policy magazine that reported that Russia was not listed among President-elect Donald Trump's defense priorities. Obviously, we've heard from campaign officials who aren't necessarily confirming that. So I want to get your reaction to that first and foremost.
Russia remains one of the greatest threats to peace in the world, and you know they have interfered in Ukraine. They have interfered in Syria, and most recently we saw over our presidential campaign their hacking of the DNC, the DCCC, John Podesta's emails, and state election systems was an attack on our democracy. So Russia is a threat, and a greater threat for our country going forward is a president-elect who does not take his intelligence briefings and does not acknowledge the role that Russia, the disturbing and disruptive role that Russia has played in the world.
Well, in fact, and he's doing that today, just so our viewers know. But I do want to ask you, because obviously we see that Rex Tillerson will possibly be taking the helm of the State Department. What responsibilities does he have going forward, especially when it does pertain to Russia? We've seen some senators who have met with him, such as Senator Jeff Flake. He tweeted in part, had a good conversation with Secretary nominee Rex Tillerson this afternoon, looking forward to further discussions and the hearing. So we're starting to see more senators and lawmakers get on board for him.
The American people deserve to know a lot more about nominee Tillerson. First, I believe we need to know, where does he stand on Russia? He's done a lot of business with Russia. He's benefited personally and economically by his relationships with Putin. But also, I think we need to see his tax returns. We have not seen the president-elect's tax returns, and we are hearing that Rex Tillerson will not be releasing his tax returns. And, you know, when it comes to dealing with Russia, a national security threat, we should know to what extent he has had economic ties to this foe.
All right, Congressman, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Happy holidays.
You too.